In this video, we're going to take a look at the site Quizizz. It's also an iPad app, so it could be used on any device. Quizizz is great for formative assessment, review, checking background knowledge or prior knowledge. So we're going to go to quizizz.com and sign in. I use my Google account, that's up to you. And you'll notice it's got an exploring tab where you can search for pre-made content. So if I were to look up figurative language, for example, and I wanted to see what was already created, it tells me how many times a game was played, how many times someone liked it or saved it, and I could use that as a guide, and I could click in to preview it as well. So this is the pre-made library. Notice some are lessons and some are quizzes. The lesson slides have content without questions. So let's say I took a peek at this and I'm like, yep, I want this one. And by the way, you can create from scratch, but that's another video for another day. So I'm going to hit save this to my collections and I'll put it in my ELA. Collections show up in a tab on the left that I don't have. I'd have to click more to see them. But what's nice too is I can edit this. So I created a copy and now I'm editing. So I can duplicate questions, I can delete questions, I can do all that cool stuff. I have to make sure that when I'm done, I click finish editing. Because see, it's if I wanted to assign that, it says it's a draft, and then click publish. So I have two options. I can start this as a live quiz, either classic where students work at their own pace, or I control it, it's instructor paced. Or I can assign it for homework. So if I was going to do that, I could design a deadline. If you don't put a deadline in, it expires after 6 months. So if this is content they're going to need to review again and again, you can just leave it that way. So if I assign it, I've got options. I can have kids open their app and put in that code down below. I can even assign it in classroom. So I select the classroom I want to assign it to and I say next. I fill out the nitty-gritty details of the assignment and hit save. So that will assign for them in Google Classroom. Okay, let's start this live so you can see what this would look like. So I'm coming back to my library. I'm going to start a live quiz in classic mode. I'm just leaving all the settings default for now. You can change settings, which you'll see what that means. You can go classic mode where they work individually, team where they work individually but their scores combine, and test you have to log in. I've never used test. Keep in mind with quizzes, you can have 25 students in a free game. So it's different from Kahoot, which was 30. So just keep that in mind. So here's our join code. So we're going to split my screen. On the left is teacher view. On the right is student view. I'm entering the code, so I could do this on their iPad. They open the Quizizz app. If it's not on their iPad, they can find it in self-service. Enter their name. And I'm also joining from a secondary device, so you'll see two students in here at once. And you'll notice that when the second participant pops in, then we're ready to start. So I'm going to hit start on my teacher screen. So on the left is what's projected for my students, or I can opt not to project that. That's up to you. The questions are asked, and they're right on the screen. And what's interesting is I'm doing this on two devices. I'll explain power up at the end of this video. I'm doing this on two devices and the questions are staggered. I'm not getting the same question on each device. So the students don't necessarily get the same question at the same time unless you're in teacher paced mode. So we're going to go all the way through this with two students. And what's funny is you can opt to take the memes out, but the kids seem to enjoy that. So memes come up whether they get them right or wrong. The leaderboard is based on who answers questions correctly and quickly. And at the end, you can see the scores. They come up by question and by student, and I wouldn't be projecting at this point. But what's nice too is for free, I can download my results. So in the upper right corner, download results button. It saves as an Excel document, and this is what it looks like. Now you might have noticed those power-ups. They only happen in the quiz mode and when it's teacher directed, or student paced, but you're leading the activity live. And the power-ups are just different ways to engage students. You can turn them on or off, and you can pause to read what they do. For some kids, we have found this really motivates them, and for others, it's just more of a distraction. So that's all teacher choice. So that's Quizizz in a nutshell.